So this is a does it stand the test of time video review. We've had this for over 5 years, and we have had all of our children since getting it. So we have toddlers who are putting this to heavy use. So the biggest design flaw, I would say, is that the wood chips, this wood comes up. We end up just putting a tablecloth over it because the chips will actually come off on the kids' hands. So the other big issue I would say with it is that there are pretty big gaps here in between the crevice to get that farmhouse look. And of course, that means lots of crumbs. So it is an ongoing battle for me to keep that clean. I use the vacuum on it. I use toothpicks to get in there and clean it out, but that's a real thing to note if you have kids. And then we have spilled some water on it, so you can see there's like water damage here. There's a little bowing, or it's coming up a little bit. We haven't tried like hammering it down, but again, real thing to note. So the chairs and benches are all sold separately. You can get them on Amazon. I will post an affiliate link to everything below. So the chairs also chip, and these actually splinter a lot worse than the table. So when I've gotten down with a rag and tried to clean these off, or like a paper towel, I've gotten multiple splinters from that. So if I use a rag, it's fine. I just need something thicker. And also it's a great dirt and crumb collector here. So since it's black, it shows everything, which is just to be aware of. Again, it's a very sturdy table. There is like no wobble to this thing. It is, yeah, the legs seem very strong. I have no issues with that. And the chairs are also very sturdy as well and heavy, which is nice because kids will try to test gravity all the time with it. And knock on wood, we haven't had anyone push themselves over. The favorite feature, of course, with this table is that it has 6 drawers. So we use this for napkins, like plastic utensils if we have extra. When we have kids in the itty bitty baby stage, we keep bibs here, washcloths here. So I love the drawers. That is by far a great feature to have with kids. Another thing to note is the clearance from the bottom of the table to the bench or your chairs is just about 6.5 inches. So the biggest issue I've seen with that, since the table comes down so far, is if you have like a booster seat that you're trying to fit under the table so that your kid can actually sit at the table, that has not worked well for us. So if you're in a booster seat, your kid basically has to sit away from the table and use the tray with the seat. So because of that, we've been moving kids to the bench a lot earlier than we probably would otherwise. The other thing is, because it's so wide, if you have like a clip-on chair, like booster seat, that might also be a problem because it's not flush with the top and the bottom. It does come out. So just how this all fits in our house and with our family, we can easily fit 3 toddlers on this bench. They are smaller kids, but they all fit here, so that has worked out well for sibling bonding. One other thing that is, depending on how you like to fix your dining room table, it's really hard to push everything in to be flush up against the table at the same time without pushing something out. So like you can get the bench in, but if you do that, you're going to have crooked chairs, which for most people, if you have it pulled out a little bit, it's not a problem. Unfortunately, we have a dog that likes to jump up on the table all the time, or try to. So we're always trying to figure out how to maneuver the chairs so the dog can't squeeze her way up and get on the table. Your average setup, if you have 6 people sitting here, it very comfortably fits 6 people. You're not squished. If you have little kids, again, you can fit 3 toddlers on the bench if you can get them to get along. Technically, if you would want to, you could fit 3 chairs along the long side of this table. I mean, you would not have much space for these 3 people sitting here, but technically 3 chairs do fit. I mean, your 2 end people would have to be shifting and sharing space for sure. The drawers are not overly deep. They're just about, I don't know, like 1.5 inches about, which is fine if you're just, throwing in some napkins, maybe some extra utensils here and there, or like in our case, bibs or washcloths. But these are not overly deep drawers, but if they were really deep, then this would have to be even further down. So overall with this table, if you're okay with it showing wear and tear after 5 years or so, especially if you have kids, I would still say I love this table. We put a tablecloth on it and it takes away a lot of the issues. And it is a harder table to clean, I will say that. So keep that in mind. But that is my review of the Ashley Farmhouse table with drawers.